Hey, it's Gus with Combat Sports Supply, and today we're going over the Arcturus Sword FE. The swords are a series of rifles by Arcturus. This is version 2 of it. They're very good, high-end, mid-range rifles. There is a third one that's right in between these two. They come in 3 different lengths. This is a 13.5, this one's an 8. There's a 9.55 that fits right in the middle. This is what sets this gun apart from almost everything else in its price range. We did do a video on the original one of these that came out. They're great rifles. I would recommend going to look at that. It covers more in depth the basics of the overall build. We're going to be going over more specifically the FE stuff that comes in the new one. So what comes in the box when you get it? Alright, there was a bunch of stuff in that box. What was it? Well, you've got your user manual with the factory specs on it, your bag of goodies from Arcturus, plus your battery adapter if you need it. This is the new piece. This is the programming card for it, so you know what you're doing. It does come with an AR wrench now, which is super handy for working on it. Comes with a muzzle brake. It's a full metal one, which is nice. Not a lot of them come with those anymore. And it's honestly a pretty neat one with this rifle. And they have stopped putting the cap on the back of the buffer tube and started including it in the box in a bag. Obviously is the gun and magazine. Normally these sights would be in a bag in the box. You need to mount them yourself. It does come with the tools to do so. Starting off, you have your Arcturus stock, the really nice one that has the little pop-open battery compartment, which is super handy. Sling point adapter, and it's actually ambidextrous. One of the other big changes to this rifle is the grip. I'm actually super fond of this grip style they've put on here. It's real easy to get a hold of. For the left-handers out there, there's your selector, and it is ambidextrous. You do have a blade trigger on this one. It's super comfortable. The integral widened trigger guard underneath that is beveled on the side, so you're not going to cut your fingers on it. Does have an ambidextrous mag release on it. There's the primary side. There's the ambidextrous side. It does in fact have the locking door over it, so you can access the internals easier. Next thing we've got to go over is the sights. They did change them from the original M-Bus style sights to these new ones. They're pretty nice. You notice I wear glasses. I'm basically blind. This rear peep sight with the actual narrow sight up, I can't see through it worth crap. So I just use them with the open sight. This is the little tiny peep sight on it. And this is what the other one looks like. Your front rail is aluminum. It has full M-LOK attachment system with the top Picatinny. It does also have on both sides a QD attachment system for a sling. There is also another QD attachment point on the stock. Alright, next let's go into the airsoft stuff for this thing. How does it shoot, hop up, all that nonsense. According to their spec sheet out of the factory, this short one out of the box is shooting right around 380, 400 FPS. The other one, the longer one, shoots a little bit harder. 380 to 400 is a good average. As far as the battery on this thing, normally you're going to run an 11.1 in just about any Arcturus. These ones especially. You may have to drop it down to a 7.4 if you drop the spring in to make it shoot slower for indoor arenas. It does have a Dean's connector out of the box. As far as the hop up in this, it has your standard Arcturus rotary hop. They're pretty darn nice and they stay pretty true throughout use. Like the original swords, this does have the neodymium 24K motor instead of the most standard 18K motor that most guns come with. It is a 23 TPA motor. Then there's your little programming card. This is going to be the longest part of this video because there's a lot on this thing. For those of you that have been with us for a while, I am going to go over this again, but we did cover this in our ATAK video earlier. At the top of this it says programming via trigger. Those instructions are on the back of the card. There are a lot of options on here, but we're going to go down them one by one. First is your selector mode standard version, then your trigger brake position, trigger reset, active brake, low battery warning, pre-cocking, and reset to default settings. As far as shooting options with this, your default is safe semi-auto. You can change it to safe semi 2-round burst, safe semi 3-round burst, safe semi-binary, safe semi-semi. Now, I know a lot of people don't understand a lot of this terminology, binary being one of the more confusing ones. What that means is when you pull the trigger, it will fire, and then when you release the trigger, it will fire again. Now, there's a lot of options here. I'm only really going to cover 2 more of them right now, but there are plenty of other things you can change on this. The trigger brake position is where the trigger will fire in that arc. And your trigger reset position is when during your trigger release, the switch is disengaged. What all of that means is how far back you have to pull the trigger to fire, and how far forward you have to release the trigger for it to reset to be able to pull again. It has 9 different settings of pre-cocking. For those of you that don't know what that means, it means that the system is going to pre-ratchet the piston back a certain distance, depending on what setting you have it on, so that when you pull the trigger, there's less time between when that piston goes forward and you have pulled the trigger. They're honestly great guns. I wish this stock came on more guns because it's so easy to get in and out of. The magazines run great. The hop up is super easy to deal with. The fact that it's ambidextrous means I can switch hands and not have an issue with it. And they're just solid. Now, I was already thinking about getting one of these original swords for myself. Now that it has the FE system in it, I kind of really want one because it's a heck of a gun for the price.
Don't be a fool!